Now you guys can model this stuff. You can model this stuff off of the shapes, or you can do what I'm about to do by just like taking this plane and chopping it off. This piece is worthless now. You know, like I could do. This is one way to do something is I can duplicate this shape. Let me isolate it so you can see what I'm doing here, right? You can see on and off here. I'm going to add an edge loop to this thing, like right here. I'm going to try to get like a square, okay? Get like a square to it. Isolate this thing out. I'm just going to grab one face here. One face is all I need. Okay, now I got my one face here. I'm just going to pull it off just a little bit, just a little tiny pull off of the surface. Okay. And then I am going to grab this shape and let's just center the pivot here too, right? Center the pivot. I need to find that material. I think this is him, blend 5. Let's go to my UVs. Turn on my image so I can see what I'm doing here. All right, and there it is. This is my UV that I had for that wood. Let me straighten this up though, because this is kind of crooked. You can kind of see the pixels going on there. I'm just gonna scale these guys flat. Whoa. Scale it flat, scale it flat, scale it flat. That way I get a perfect square out of this thing and I don't get any stretching going on here. I'm just gonna enlarge this shape, and here, if you guys want, you can see this all happening in real time. Just gonna scale this UV shape up. Over here. This guy is a little rectangular, actually. He's not perfect square. So I'm actually just gonna drag my UVs around. I don't have anything over here, but if I do plan on putting something there, you know, I have some free space. If I plan on putting something there, I'm not gonna want that to be, you know, interacting with it too much. Just scale this guy down here too. Just make it a nice tight little shape. But this thing is an alpha, though. There's no background to it. So I'm actually seeing through my emblem there. I'm seeing the wood behind it. Okay, so I got this guy. He's there. You know, maybe this thing's too big. I could just grab this model now and just move it around. There we go. Oh, that's a little bit better. Better size on that thing, right? And I can move it wherever I want to too. You know, if I want it over here, let me pull it off the model just a little bit more. Maya has, you know, some problems with Z fighting, where it really is terrible at Z fighting. So, you know, you may need to overemphasize some of your alphas that you're working on there. There we go. I can grab this guy too, and I can duplicate him. He's pretty much lined up with the rest of this over here, and I could just put some more over here if I wanted to. I don't know. I could put a whole line of these guys up here. I could do something like this, right? Just grab this guy. Let me freeze my transforms. Shift D. I could just make like a whole line of these guys. And just like delete these ones maybe, you know. That's a little silly though. It seems like a little bit too much. A little bit too much. I'm just gonna put like 2 of these guys here like that. I think that gets the job done. And just grab these guys and duplicate. We'll send it on to the other side too, right? Let me just put these guys where they belong on this side. And this guy over here. Now, Maya currently has AO turned on, so that's why it looks like garbage like this. So if I turn AO off, still kind of give me some nasty stuff. It shouldn't be doing this, but I don't know. Let me just flip the faces around. Let's just reverse face. That should fix it. There we go. And I could turn my AO back on. And I got emblems right there. A nice little detail that I could just slap on this model wherever I want it to be. This is decal geometry. And I think that's really all I wanted to do with this thing. Was just a few decals there just to kind of set the tone. Give it a little something to break up. You want to break up the, you know, the repeating texture that's going on over and over again, right? So any opportunity that you have to break that up, the better. The better it's going to be. You know, like I have this one wood grain on the end of all these pieces. That's what I have those end pieces for now. So I can grab my wood here. Let me just grab like all of my wood. Everything with the end piece, basically. I think these ones are okay. And these ones are okay, because you're not seeing those end pieces. It's really like these guys right here that we're actually seeing the ends happening. So I'm gonna isolate this guy out. Take a quick little peek. See, like I took the UVs for these guys and I offset them on this side. But you see how these UVs are all lined up with each other. That's not good. You can see that not happening over and over and over again. Not good. So I'm gonna grab my, come over to my UVs for these guys. I don't think I need the UV toolkit right now. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Get to my area here. I don't have the right material selected right now. I don't know why it defaults like that, but there we go. And I imagine that these are all of my duplicated guys here. Let me go to UV shell. Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know. Like these guys are all a duplicate of this guy too. So whatever this UV shell is, I'm just gonna deselect that. And now you see I have control over all four of these guys because they're all stacked on top of each other. So let's break this up a little bit. I'm just gonna, just move one of them slightly and then just deselect and, just move them again. Offset it. I can keep going. I can just go all over the place with these models because that's what tiling is and trimming. Deselect this one. Just keep this thing going. I'm just finding different textures to use, different little details where I could say, yeah, there's a knot there and there's a knot there, not, Let's not see the same detail. Deselect, I'll send this one up like all the way to the top maybe. Just line them up a little bit differently so it's not the same as this one over here. Okay. And there we go. Now I have differing wood textures on all of these pieces. And I shouldn't see any UVs that line up with details. These are all like this knot's lined up with this one, but that's a different knot. So it doesn't blend in. Cool. That's the beauty of tiling. But right now I want to work on these end pieces though. Those are all stacked together. And that's what I kind of designed this stuff to be over here. Was now I can grab like one UV shell at a time here and just say, yeah, you would look good if you were, I could scale it down a little bit, get some varying wood grain in here. And it's gonna be hard for people to see that happening. So now I got a different wood grain there. Let's get a different one on this side here too. Let's go to the other side, flip it. I don't want those all to be the same. So again, I should just hang on a minute. Before I get too crazy with this, let's not make too much more work for myself here. I'm gonna grab all these guys together, grab all of these shapes, bring them on up here. You know, maybe I could send another one down here again. I don't know. But I want to scale them all together so that they fit in this, in these small little tiles that I have set up. So now that I have them all the right size, then I can come around here and just, you know, move them around. And they're all selected too, so I'll have to go through and you know, grab them all individually. You know. And these things don't even have to be straight either. I could do something like this right here and just like, you know, give it a different shape there. It's a little low, to be honest. To be completely honest, it's a little low. I wonder if I could do something like this here, right? To scale it up and send it over the edge. That way I kind of get like a separation between this one and this one right here. I don't know. Again, you know, if the wood grain doesn't look really good, then send it off to a corner or to a loop like that. Let's do some stuff on the top here. Mild differences that I mean, they do make a difference overall though. In the long run, they do a heck of a lot of work. And just make some little touch-ups that give this thing some character. And again, the intention for this was, sorry. The intention for this material was that I could reuse it for like a village. So I can definitely do this kind of stuff with a village as well. These guys are already locked into a good position. I got one of them on one side and the other one on the other side. So let me just change it up so that it's not the same emblem on all sides there. And maybe I go for this one over here instead. There's a little tiny crack there, you know. A little something different so it doesn't just all blend together. This guy here, like I want this one. Nope. UVs. I'm just gonna double click so I get the shell. And we'll do this one over here maybe. If I don't like the direction it's going, we could just flip it around. And maybe I want the crack coming from the top, like a nail was just driven through it and it cracked the top. Tile and trim, tile and trim. Okay, let's work with these guys now because they're all lined up with each other too. I want to try this out. Like just take it up a little bit more. Pull it over here. Let's see what we get. Yeah. I must admit that like this one is a pretty good looking texture over here. Some of these other ones, though, are not looking too great. You know, I kind of want like a lot more wood grain. Some of these lighter wood grain ones don't really make a lot of sense. So here, let me just like rotate it, you know. Just grab a little bit and rotate it. Just get some different shapes out of it. If these other ones aren't working because they're too low, then you know, I can use that for something else. Use that space for something else if I wanted to. I want this guy to go sideways. Or just diagonal. That works. All right. That is wood ends. Figured out and done. Unisolate here. Let me play with tar. I want to see what that looks like. Let's do some tar. I don't know like how great this is gonna be. And I don't know really where I plan on putting it. Here, let's try something. Let's try this out here. I'm going to grab this guy. Do I have 2 buckets here? Getting some... No. Okay. Look at that. Why is that happening? Maya, you silly. Silly person. Or thing. Whatever. Okay, so let me try this. Let me try duplicating this bucket. I just want to grab like this edge loop here. I'm just reusing what's already there. Saving myself some time here, right? So I'm gonna grab this guy. I want them lined up with the face so that I can just pull it down like that. And here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just scale it in a little bit. Tiny amount. This. Yeah, it's just not lined up with the geometry very well. All right, let me look at wireframe here. Let's see if I can just kind of like bring it closer to where the planks kind of line up. But I'm gonna try to turn this thing into the tar there. There, at least it's offset a little bit. That's kind of what I'm shooting for there. A little bit of offset. I'm gonna bring this UV over here now all the way up to my, up to my tar. Scale it up a little bit, or down. Yeah, you know, I want it to chop off a little bit. I want the tar kind of built up like this. I suppose that's good. Ultimately, this guy is a little bit too far that way. And I think the texture needs to be a little bit bigger, truthfully, or smaller. Yeah, there's gonna be some mild stretching happening here, probably. Let me grab the whole shape and just go bigger with it overall. Do I have anything that's showing yet? All right, isolating. Let's get rid of this blue color. It's starting to annoy me. All right, so this is me looking at the tar right now. If I set this ring up the right way, it should do the right thing. And currently, this material is not set up with the opacity channel. So I need to change this face to be my opacity one. There we go. So now I got opacity so you can see through it. Getting a little bit of tar leakage down the barrels there. Down the bucket. It's not bad. Still could be better though. This is modeling though. This is you guys kind of touching things up and being, you know, getting as close to possible as you can get it. All right, so I like the leakage happening there. And what I'm going to do now, I just want to grab this geometry here. I'm just going to do like a multi-cut like this and just chop this out. Like that. This stuff is okay, I guess. I don't know, maybe. Let's grab these guys and just. If I extend it out, it's going to kind of squash it. That's okay. A little bit of stretching there is no problem. All right, and I could just delete these faces now. Gone. Wait, oh, let's delete them out here. There. Gone and gone. Get some of these guys gone here. I got a little leaky drip going on there on the model. Again, it's subtle. But is it worth like, you know, 3 polygons? Yeah, maybe. Sure. And these guys here, I can move these guys around into place and I can get one more drip. Maybe that's not where I want it then. Maybe I want it a little bit further on the other side here so we could see it from that view and do the same thing with it. And let me take this guy here and just push it over a UV space so it's not in my way. Line it up. Line it up where you want it. I'm gonna kind of put it up on top here like that so I can see how it reacts to the lighting, pretty much. And again, I'm just gonna grab some geometry here. Just do like a multi-cut and get rid of this bucket shape. But yeah, it's okay that I pushed it that close to the texture. You know, it's just gonna, I might use one extra edge loop there. You know, one little face. I don't think it's that big of a deal, right? Delete this stuff. This guy right here, again, just gonna pull this shape out so I fit the whole shape in there. And I can just get rid of these guys, just like that. I could probably squeeze one more drip on the top here too. It's gonna be hard for you to tell that that's happening. Again, you know, I don't know. I'll probably need to do a little bit of adjustments of this just to kind of clean it up some more. Get one more drip over here probably. Now, this is not something that would be able to happen on these buckets because I'm going like over different planks here. So I'm basically like telling a couple of textures to look different, even though they're not textured different. So that's a, you know, that's like, well, what do you want me to do there then? So plan it out the right way. I did a little bit of stretching there. Not too big of a deal. Just kind of chop that out of there. Not needed. Turn wireframe off there and you won't be able to tell a difference. A little bit of tar sap on my bucket. Now let me grab these guys here though. Just grab the whole model. Let me try to get my, where did my move go? Did I change the pivot too much? I don't know where it went. I don't know why it's up there. That's pretty odd. Anyways, whatever. Select these guys like that. And we'll scale, I'm gonna try to scale in just a little bit. Again, Maya with its dumb Z fighting, it's gonna make stuff look kind of nasty, but it'll do the right thing in other programs, hopefully. All right, and there's just a little bit of bucket, you know, a little bit of tar drippage on that. I could do the same thing over here, actually. That's a good idea. I want to do like a little bit of tar dripping on the rim here. A little bit of extra geometry to put a little extra detail in there, but it's not like I'm modeling it really in. Does anybody have any questions on this stuff while I'm going around? Good info, hopefully. This is obviously environmental modeling workflow, not something that everyone's going to do. This model specifically is very heavy, heavily environmental and heavily made in that way. So very specific application of this. Just gonna grab all of this and then delete everything else. Would decals be easier in Unreal? No, not really. I mean, if I was doing environmental, like if I was putting like puddles on the ground, if I was working on a flat surface, it would just be like, yeah, let me put a camera here and just project it on there and then just, you know, send it home, right? That makes sense to me, but how are you gonna do, like, how are you gonna set a camera up to wrap around a model like this though, right? You know, that would be a little difficult. You would probably need like 5 or 6 different cameras, you know, and projection too. Like it's a little bit more costly doing it that way too. So at the same time, it's like you're using more rendering power to get that camera projecting that texture onto it. It's not as instanced, basically. So basically. It's kind of messy when you think about it like that. All right, I have something here on this shape. That looks like my edge wear. Yeah, that's my wood edge wear. I'm just gonna try some more, just a little bit more of that tar dripping. Again, just gonna grab this geometry. It is taking a little bit of time to do it this way. That's a given. It is taking a little bit of time to build this thing up. I can guarantee you though, it takes just as much time to set up a trimming or a decal for Unreal. My scale is off, so I need to scale this thing up a lot more. So I'm getting some good scale on this. And I really didn't know what I was doing with this tar drip. That was just like a, hey, what if I did this kind of situation there. I want this thing to be a little bit thinner like that. But there we go. I think, that's tar drip there. If I had known that I was putting it under this, then I might have made like a whole strip for it. But you never know what you're gonna use for actual game development and working on models like this. So it could go any way. It can go any way. Actually, I think this is. Just switch my conversion to UVs here. And just send it up a little bit more now, because now it's a little bit too small. Let it drip a little bit bigger. I want it to make sense and be like a good scale. So let me just grab the opposite, and that'll be the top. I can just move this shape around a little bit more. I just want it to be a good proportion for my texture here. But this is how this workflow goes. Am I painting this stuff in a substance painter? No, this is you like skipping the substance painter side of things and just going straight to modeling. So I'm again, like I'm reusing the geometry here. And just sliding these details in where I think they can go. Again, like Maya, just, it's gonna look a lot better. It's gonna look a lot better outside of Maya. It's just a terrible render for these kind of effects because it doesn't have a good grasp of opacity the right way. But Maya was never the end product here for these models. So it's just, so I could get a good preview of what it's gonna look like. Like I'm not even bothering with that. If I have to move it back, that's just gonna ruin it, so. Oh, sorry, I clicked off the model.